All right, everybody out there in the Craft Chest Nation, it's I, Craft Chest here, and it is day 11 and probably going to be one of the last apocalypse reports that I do. Pretty much just wanted to post this video to clarify a statement which you're about to hear from me last night in my latest video. Now, I can see where you can misunderstand where my laughter came from. But with that said, Governor Cuomo from the state of New York, I do not live there, but his latest press conference, he stated something, and it's going to be about a minute to a 2-minute clip that we're going to react to. So fair use and all that for reporting purposes. Just to clarify my video, which is this one, I'll put the link to both of them down in the description so you can go back and actually watch where I get this information, both from myself and from the Governor Cuomo. And whenever I listened to his press conference, he got to a certain point where he talked about people's responsibility. All right, he talked about people's responsibility not only in the medical field, but out on the streets, in the neighborhoods. Okay, and so it's going to clarify this clip right here, which let me go ahead and press play, and you will hear background noise because I do have the AC running this afternoon. It's in the 80s, humidity is kind of high, so I apologize for that in advance, and I will adjust the volume accordingly. That should be good right there. So this is the clip right here that actually a few people, sent me messages on, but one of them was a public comment from John Broderick, and I want to clarify what this actually means because I was getting it, to my time limit that I had going on, as far as keeping it within a 20-minute window is what I've been trying to strive for, all right? And so I left a lot of information off the end of it. But here's the clip right here. Nurses, doctors, and all that, heroes. Work some retail for about, I don't know, a week. Okay? Any type of service industry, you'll see who the real heroes are. It's a craft of the mind. All right, and that right there, I can see where that could be misunderstood. I honestly can. I can see where that right there is a thumb at the nose or a disrespectful comment towards medical workers. However, this clip that I want to play from Governor Cuomo, and I'm going to be stopping it and talking in between it, but this is for reporting purposes only. And here we go. Let's play this.
Reopen.
All right.
Yes.
Talk about reopening.
Is a process driven by people.
By the people.
Responsibility of people. If they wear the masks, if they socially distance, if they take precautions, if they wash their hands, think of this.
Here it comes.
The infection rate of the nurses and emergency room workers is lower than the infection rate among the general population.
Now, how is that possible? And that's my point. That's what I have been really getting at in my videos is what's about to be said right here. Okay? And what's about to be said right here, I actually, when he started making this statement, I had to stand up. I was like, yes. You may not agree with political figures, whether it be mayors, governors, president, whatever. But when he said that, I was thinking to myself, no matter who you are, you have to agree, well, what he's got going on here?
How can that possibly be? How can you have emergency workers, even EMS workers, who show up on the scene, deal directly with a person who's COVID positive?
Out on the street. We're talking about going out to somebody's house or in a car or whatever.
Puts them on a stretcher, brings them into an ambulance, goes into a hospital, they treat the person, they're doing IVs, they're undressing, dressing the person, their infection rate is lower?
And that's where I was coming from right there. Because of the analytics of the whole thing. The numbers that have been put out there, and if you've noticed, they're not really talking so much about, and don't take this the wrong way, but oh, woe is me, the medical workers now, because now their supplies are starting to get there.
Yes. Because of this.
Because of the mask.
It works. It works. What do you think? A nurse or a doctor, they have super fancy space suits? They don't. They're wearing surgical masks, N95 masks. Many wear face shield in front, and a gown. And a gown is also made of this. So the precautions work.
And that right there was the whole point of where I was going with that statement. All right. Wasn't trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but here's the big kicker of it. And I'm going to let him continue on here. But he's right when he says it's up to the people. We have to, out here in the general populace, no matter where you live on this planet, you have a responsibility to your fellow person, animal, whatever. You have a responsibility as a person to do the right thing. Let's continue.
It's in an emergency room. It's going to work for you. So if people follow the precautions, yes, you will see a reopening, and you'll see an infection rate that does not grow dramatically.
And there you go. And that's what I was getting at. But if we rewind the entire other 20 plus minutes of that video building up to that point, that's where I was at. All right. In my mind, that's where I was at. And for him, the governor of New York, all right, in a far greater population area than down here, you know, if we, being a far fewer people in this state, can't do the right thing. It's not even a 50-50 split. We're seeing more of it, of people wearing the PPE. All right. We're seeing more of the masks. We're seeing more of the gloves. We're seeing even parents making their children wear this. If everybody would unite on this and do it for the allotted amount of time, we don't know exactly what it is. They're saying 14 days. If everybody would actually participate with this, because it does exist. Coronavirus exists. COVID-19 is real. It's not a joke. And that is ultimately where I was coming from, because I do work out in the public. I do work out in the retail sector. And yes, I chose my profession. Been doing it a long time. And never have we dealt with something as serious as this, because we knew it was coming years and years and years ago. It's like, man, you know, eventually these mutations, something's got to give. And now we're seeing where we don't want, and this, I think, was the ultimate fear. We don't want a virus like this that nobody recognizes. It's brand new. It's like it's a new strain as far as what everybody's talking about. They don't want something like this to mutate into being airborne or a blood pathogen, to where, you know, there's so many, you know, it's countless how this thing can mutate and how viruses do mutate. And I think that's the ultimate fear. And that's what I meant. Out in the general public, we have no earthly idea of the peoples that we come in contact with, especially people we don't recognize, our clientele that come in, week out. Some people was like, man, this dude comes in here every day. And then that's just a handful. That is a percentage smaller than 5. And then the rest of the peoples, you don't know what's going on in their life. Not just coronavirus. It could be, name it, a sickness. And they're out in the public, and we deal with this. It's like roulette every single day, dealing with the public. So, am I saying that we should wear masks from here till eternity? No. But let's do the right thing right now with this present crisis. Watching our governor this afternoon, because I wanted to go back and actually redo this video a little bit. Our governor, right now, there's 7 counties in our state that they're going to have to revamp how strong their precautionary measures are. And then there's other factors built into it. I missed about 10 minutes of the first of the press conference, but I want to get details on that so I understand what's going on locally. But Governor Cuomo, I applaud you for that segment. And like I said, I will link it down in the description so you could go check out the entire thing. It was towards the end of this press conference, probably the last 15 minutes or so, where he actually started talking about our responsibility outside of government, outside the medical field. And it's a craft of the mind. I'm going to end it there. go out there and have some fun. And I hope this clarifies any misunderstanding from the last video. Yes, Charles, it was a buzzed vlog, but I was off today, so, I don't know. Maybe I should have waited. But that's the risk in doing one takes like I do. I ain't got time to edit for 234 hours. Woo!